What's up, guys? This your boy Mr. 240. I'm back today with part 3 again. We got it done. We got it right. We got it right. So we're gonna record this bad boy once again. You know what I'm saying? If you're new to the page, comment, subscribe, hit that notification button. You know what I'm saying? But before we get started, I appreciate the last love for the video. Scar, like I care, I don't care about views, whether it's 10 views, 20 views, 30 views, 100 views, 100,000 views. I don't care as long as people tuning in. So I continue to try to get y'all dope content. But with that being said, if you're new to the page, comment, subscribe, hit that notification button. You feel what I'm saying? But before we get it started, we gotta give all thanks to the Lord Jesus Christ, because we all know if it weren't for him, won't be no me, won't be no page, won't be no y'all. You know what I'm saying? So we on part 3 of the Dead Man. And we left off and we get into a new gimmick. Let's go. So Calloway had expanded the Undertaker gimmick, returning under his human alter ego. You know what I'm saying? The American Badass. You know what I'm saying? It was like out of his normal dark demonic character. You know what I'm saying? And he wanted to become something new. So when The Undertaker returned near the end of the Iron Man match for the WWF Championship between Triple H and The Rock at Judgment Day on May 21st, 2000, he took out every member of the McMahon-Hamsley faction, which created a face turn out the blue before his hiatus. And of course, he targeted WWF Champion Triple H. So at King of the Ring on June 25th, The Undertaker teamed up with The Rock and his brother Kane to defeat Triple H and Kane and Shane McMahon. But it was for the WWF title, but The Rock got the pinfall. Afterwards, he was booked to team up with his brother Kane to contend for the WWF Tag Team Championships. They defeated Edge and Christian, earning the right to face them the following week for the tag titles, which the following week Edge and Christian had retained. But during the August 14th episode of Raw, bout against Chris Benoit, Kane became involved and betrayed his brother again, hitting him not only with one, but 2 choke slams. The second one was through the ring, which caved in. This incident led another match between the two at SummerSlam on August 27th, which ended in a no contest as Kane fled from the ring after Undertaker removed his mask. The Undertaker then challenged Kurt Angle for the WWF Championship at Survivor Series on November 19th. This when Kurt Angle had defeated Undertaker, however, you know what I'm saying, but it was after he switched places with his real life brother, because Undertaker was finna get the dub, but the referee was finna count 3, but it wasn't him, it was his brother. The Undertaker had demanded and was rewarded a spot in the 6-man Hell in a Cell match for the WWF Championship at Armageddon on December 10th. You know what I'm saying? The Undertaker promised to make someone famous, like he did Shawn Michaels and Mick Foley. And he did. He performed a choke slam on his BK, I forgot the name of the damn game, but y'all know, on his partner, Rikishi, from the roof of the cell into some hay cargo bag onto a truck. The Undertaker had reunited with his brother, issuing a challenge for the WWF Tag Team Championships. They received a title shot at No Way Out on February 25th, 2001, facing Edge and Christian and then champions Dudley Boyz in a table match, but was unsuccessful. Undertaker went on to defeat Triple H at WrestleMania 17 on April 1st, which that was the best WrestleMania of all time, because I watched it live and my auntie Yo-Yo ordered, and me and my little cousin Cameron at the time. I think I was like 13, and I think Cameron probably like 26, 27, 20. I'm like 9 years old in Cameron. So whatever at that time, me and him watch wrestling. It was like our common bond. He started watching wrestling because of me. Yeah, I said it on the plane. But alright, so he and Kane continued a storyline that focused on Triple H, who formed a surprise alliance with then WWF champion Stone Cold Steve Austin. The brothers of the Destruction gained the opportunity to face Triple H and Austin for their titles. After the Undertaker Kane won the WWF Tag Team Championship from Edge and Christian. You know what I'm saying? But on SmackDown. Triple H pinned Kane after attacking him with a sledgehammer at Backlash, and the brothers lost their tag titles. With Kane injured, The Undertaker feuded briefly with Austin for his failed WWF Championship. He briefly feuded with Austin for the WWF Championship, but he failed to win the title at Judgment Day, May 20th. But as a part of the storyline, this weird ass storyline, I think it was they said DDP had rubbed Vince the wrong way. I think it was a rumor that he rubbed the dead man the wrong way when he was trying to choreograph the match and wrote down the moves he wanted to do, and he gave it to him, and the dead man threw it away. So that's why DDP had this weird ass storyline, which we could get into. The Undertaker next nemesis was DDP, who obsessively stalked his Undertaker then wife at the time, Sarah. So at SummerSlam on August 19th, the WCW Tag Team Champions, The Undertaker, Kane defeated DDP and his partner Kane in a steel cage match to win the WWF Tag Team Championships. So at Survivor Series on November 18th, The Undertaker teamed with The Rock, Chris Jericho, Big Show to take on the alliance, which is Stone Cold, Booker T, Rob Van Dam, and Kurt Angle. This was the last time Kane and Undertaker teamed together until 2006. Angle had pinned The Undertaker thanks to Stone Cold, but it didn't matter because Team WWF won the match. Then, of course, we enter some new, some fresh. Here we go. After the Alliance was defeated, The Undertaker inducted Jim Ross into the Kiss My Ass Club on November 26th on the episode of Raw. This one Undertaker came out making a save, talking that junk. He told JR, so was you going to kiss his ass? Boy, I handled this situation, JR. Was you going to kiss his ass? Hell no. He ain't do it. You know what I'm saying? And here we go. So he inducted Jim Ross into the Kiss My Ass Club. On November 26th episode of Raw, which involved The Undertaker pressing the lips of Ross against McMahon exposed buttocks, turning him heel in the process. In the transition, the American Badass bike identity into a heel deal. You know what I'm saying? It was here. The Undertaker eventually cut his long hair short and went by that big nickname, Big Evil. At Vengeance on December 9th, The Undertaker defeated Rob Van Dam to win the WWF Hardcore Championship. But The Undertaker's next storyline began at the Royal Rumble on January 20th, 2002, when Maven eliminated The Undertaker from the Royal Rumble match, hitting him with a drop kick. History was made, some shocking, some new, some fresh. But eventually, Maven suffered the consequences and got his ass whooped at the Royal Rumble. But thereafter, on the episode of SmackDown, The Rock angered the dead man by mentioning he got eliminated at the Royal Rumble. So he responded by costing The Rock in the number one contendership tournament against Kurt Angle for the Undisputed WWF Championship. The storyline continued when The Rock cost The Undertaker the WWF Hardcore Championship against Maven on the February 7th episode of SmackDown. This when The Rock was talking about, we ain't even this week, we ain't even next week. And then when Undertaker came out, whooped The Rock ass that same night, choke slam on the limo, tombstone on the limo. And this when he was like, you know what, Rock? We ain't never even. But of course, they had a match at No Way Out February 17th where Undertaker lost to the new co-owner thanks to Ric Flair. But the interference began the storyline with Flair, who recently declined. Who first Undertaker came to him initially the next night to challenge him at WrestleMania. Flair had declined. Okay, cool. You don't want to do that? Okay, cool. It was an episode of Raw. Molly Holly got injured. Arn Anderson was one of the agents checking on the Undertaker, attack him, whoop his ass, made him bleed. Flair still said no. Then the dead man took it to the next level. He assaulted Ric Flair's son while he was training, which eventually got Ric Flair going and accepted the challenge. He even threatened to do the same thing to Ric Flair's oldest daughter. So they had a no disqualification added to the match, and The Undertaker slaughtered Ric Flair at WrestleMania. So after the storyline with Flair, The Undertaker was drafted to Raw after the brand split into two brands and defeated Stone Cold at Backlash to become the #1 contender for the Undisputed Championship. But later that night, he helped a familiar op, the man he initially defeated at Survivor Series back 11 years prior to that. He helped Hulk Hogan defeat Triple H to become the Undisputed Champion again. And Hulkamania was on fire. Woo. The Undertaker then defeated Hogan for the renamed WWE Undisputed Championship at Judgment Day. On May 19th, The Undertaker, he defeated Hulk Hogan at Judgment Day on May 19th. But the next night on Raw, The Undertaker had seemingly lost the championship to Rob Van Dam. But however, Ric Flair started the match after Van Dam had pinned The Undertaker with his foot on the ropes. The Undertaker retained the championship against Van Dam. So, on July 1st of Raw, The Undertaker defeated Jeff Hardy in a ladder match to retain the WWE Championship, and he raised his hand out of respect, which the dead man had turned face again. But however, he had lost the championship at Vengeance to The Rock. A Rock, which had a match, it was a triple threat match which involved Kurt Angle. So it was The Rock, Undertaker, and Kurt Angle. And The Rock got the dub. If you seen this SummerSlam, then you know. The episode, you know. But on the August 29th episode of SmackDown, The Undertaker moved to SmackDown, which he remained for the next 9 years. When he defeated Chris Benoit and Kurt Angle to become the #1 contendership for the championship against Brock Lesnar for the WWE title at Unforgiven, that match ended in a no DQ. This one, Brock Lesnar had threw Undertaker. This one Undertaker threw Brock Lesnar through the sign. You know what I'm saying? So then the feud came over at No Mercy on October 20th in a Hell in a Cell match, with The Undertaker performing with a legit broke hand, which he lost to Brock Lesnar. Then, of course, over the remainder of the year, The Undertaker entered a brief feud with John Cena, defeating him at Vengeance on July 27th. He had two opportunities for the WWE Championship that year. The first one was against Kurt Angle, which ended in a no DQ thanks to Brock Lesnar. And the second one, he had another opportunity against the Beast at No Mercy in a biker chain match, which he lost thanks to Vince McMahon, which set up the feud between him and Vince. So I think this episode of SmackDown, Undertaker had to win a special match, handicap match, something. He won the match. Vince came outside talking that junk, talking that trash. And he was like, yo, so you want Brock Lesnar buried alive? He was like, no, I want you. And Vince couldn't believe it. So they had the match at Survivor Series 2003. Y'all know Undertaker dominating Vince, beating his ass, whatever. Undertaker's finna get the dub. Wrong. Kane strike again. And Kane buried his own brother, claiming that he was dead and buried, and he was never coming back. Wrong. Let's go. 2004-2007, The Return of the Dead Man. In the storyline leading up to WrestleMania 20, on March 14th, 2004, Kane was tormented by horror-themed mind games, paranormal activity, spooky vignettes, proclaiming The Undertaker Dead Man return. The first one was during the Royal Rumble when The Undertaker's bell tolled, distracting Kane and allowing Booker T to get the elimination. You know what I'm saying? Accompanied by Paul Bearer, Kane's father, at WrestleMania 20, The Undertaker resurrected his dead man gimmick, defeating Kane in a singles match. Then, of course, shortly after that, Undertaker had defeated Booker T at Judgment Day on May 16th. But 1 week after that, Paul Heyman ordered the Dudley Boys to kidnap Paul Bearer. Thus, Heyman took control of The Undertaker. So, at a Great American Bash, one of the worst main events ever, on June 27th, The Undertaker fought in a handicap match against the Dudley Boys, which was the stipulation. If he did not lay down or purposely lose, Paul Heyman would bury Paul Bearer in cement. The Undertaker won the match and stopped Heyman from burying Paul Bearer. But after claiming Bearer was merely a liability, he had no choice but to bury him. The Undertaker began a feud with WWE Champion JBL, John Bradshaw Layfield, who had defeated Eddie Guerrero at the same pay-per-view in the Texas Bull Rope match in controversy. But he challenged JBL at SummerSlam on August 15th, which the Undertaker lost by disqualification. But he got a rematch in the last Rad match at No Mercy, which he had lost thanks to a newcomer, Heidenreich. Then he got it back in blood against Heidenreich in a match at Survivor Series. The Undertaker had turned his focus to the WWE Championship once again. But he had another two opponents who both got cheated by JBL. Eddie Guerrero at Great American Bash, and of course, Booker T at Survivor Series. And they match thanks to Orlando Jordan. All three men challenged JBL for their championship rematches at Armageddon on December 12th in the Fatal 4-Way. The Undertaker was successful. He was finna get the dub. Wrong! Heidenreich is back. Still pre-came on Michael Cole back. Y'all saw the promo. That was weird. All of my man's back. My man pre-came. I'm sorry. Damn. That ain't it. Anyway. So, this feud ended in a casting match between The Undertaker and Heidenreich at the Royal Rumble in 2005, where The Undertaker sealed Heidenreich's faith in the casting match. Soon after, Randy Orton challenged the Dead Man at WrestleMania 21. This one he was the self-proclaiming legend killer. When he was RKO'ing Jake the Snake, Kamala, Fabulous Moolah. I think he RKO'd Roddy Piper. I'm not sure. I'm gonna find it though. And we know he RKO'd his on-screen girlfriend, Stacy Keibler. Anybody can get it. He didn't need nobody. I'm legendary. I'm him. Well, at that point, he was him. Sorry. But, so, he challenged The Undertaker at WrestleMania 21 on April 3rd, officially proclaiming he will be the one to end the streak. And he was close, even when his daddy helped, but wrong. The Dead Man done it again. And he went to 13-0. But after 2-month hiatus, Undertaker returned on June 16th on the episode of SmackDown, but lost to JBL due to interference of Randy Orton, who was drafted to SmackDown as a part of the lottery. Despite his interference, the Undertaker Randy Orton feud had been put on the back burner until late summer of the year, resulting in Randy Orton injury. But meanwhile, he was part of one of the most controversial segments of all time, when Teddy Long scheduled Muhammad Ali in a match against Undertaker at a Great American Bash on July 24th. But that night, he scheduled Daivari in a match against The Undertaker, which The Undertaker manslaughtered Daivari. And then the controversy happened. After the match, Hassan began to pray on the ramp, summoning 5 masked men dressed in black suits and ski masks and camouflage pants. Armed with clubs and piano wire, the masked man assaulted and choked out the Dead Man. And that was the last straw, before Hassan placed The Undertaker in the camel's clutch. Afterwards, the masked man lifted Daivari above their heads and carried him away. 3 days later, the London bombing took place. You gotta remember, 4 years prior to this, before the London bombing, September 11 happened. If you know, you know. Shout out to the conspiracy theorists out there. But, so, the London bombing took place. The footage aired unedited on UPN in the United States, and the score with the advisory warning showed several times during the broadcast. It was removed from Australian and European. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of controversy. You had the New York papers, TV Guide, varieties. And you know what I'm saying? UPN had to keep a close eye on the story. And they didn't the Muhammad Hassan character didn't even appear on the network this week. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So, the character he was portraying was an Arab American who was automatically and unfairly, mistreated as a terrorist. You know what I'm saying? and in my Boys Off TV until the Great American Bash. You know what I'm saying? Because of how he was treated by the American fans. So they had the match at the Great American Bash. Undertaker won. He became no one contender. But he delivered a last ride through the opening stage ramp onto the concrete floor. It was reported Hassan had got some injuries and was rushed to the hospital, but he was really written off TV. Several days later, he was banned from SmackDown, and we never saw the character again. Because he was Muhammad Hassan was originally supposed to win the match and defeat Batista to become World Heavyweight Champion. You know what I'm saying? But you know how they go. But Undertaker had got his title shot in a no one contender match against JBL. Once again, Randy Orton strike. He was back, reviving the feud that was put on hiatus. At SummerSlam, Randy Orton defeated Undertaker in a WrestleMania rematch, which intensified the storyline between the two. They played mind games to try to get in each other's head with dark and mind games tactics, even using the casket. You know what I'm saying? But which led to a handicap casket match with Randy Orton and his daddy versus the Dead Man and No Mercy on October 9th, which The Undertaker lost. After the match, the Orton poured gasoline on the casket and set it on fire, like Kane did. Except the Dead Man went in there. So a month and a half came up. The Undertaker had resurrected where it all began, Survivor Series, on November 27th, when the Druids delivered a casket that was struck by lightning and went up in flames. The Undertaker then burst from the flaming casket in rage, battering and brutalizing an entire ring full of wrestlers to get the message to Randy Orton. He reappeared still in the hybrid but less than Black American Badass characteristics. You know what I'm saying? Basically, he had cargo pants and stuff like that. And he wasn't using the last ride like that. But The Undertaker returned on December 2nd episode of SmackDown to hunt Orton and set up a Hell in a Cell match at Armageddon on December 18th. Undertaker won the brutal Hell in a Cell match after a long feud with Randy Orton. Then he took a brief break. But he came back January 29, 2006. The Undertaker returned to the Royal at the Royal Rumble. He returned on a horse-drawn cart during Kurt Angle's celebration of his World Heavyweight Championship match against Mark Henry. The Undertaker signaled for a title shot by using his supernatural powers to collapse the ring that Angle stood in that meant to spook him. As a part of his storyline, Undertaker lost his match to Kurt Angle at Nowhere on February 19th after a 30-minute bout, but it was described as the most underrated among the Dead Man matches. It was versatile with grounded pound submissions by Kurt Angle. You know what I'm saying? He did his grounded pound, alongside with Kurt Angle trademark freestyle wrestling. The Undertaker cornered Angle after the match and told him he's not finished with him. So in a rematch with Angle, described as underrated among Undertaker top matches. You know what I'm saying? Utilizing their wrestling styles. The previous counter on March 3rd on the episode of SmackDown, Mark Henry attacked the Dead Man and cost him the championship. This led to Undertaker challenging Mark Henry in a casket match at WrestleMania 22 on April 2nd, which Mark Henry vowed to end Undertaker WrestleMania streak. The match resulted in Undertaker sealing Mark Henry fate in the casket, getting the dub, extending the streak to 14-0 at WrestleMania. During a rematch on the next episode of SmackDown, The Undertaker was assaulted by a new debuting star, the Great Khali, who was in the longest yard with Adam Sandler. This little tall guys, bro. The Undertaker was not heard from until May 5th episode of SmackDown, when Theodore Long delivered a challenge from the Dead Man to the Great Khali at Judgment Day on May 21st, which The Undertaker lost to Khali at Judgment Day. He did not appear again until July 7th on the episode of SmackDown, when he accepted Khali's challenge in the Punjabi prison match at the Great American Bash on July 23rd. However, Khali was removed from the match due to not being medically clear. He was thus replaced by then ECW champion The Big Show, over who Undertaker had gained the dub that night in the storyline. So in the storyline, Theodore Long placed Khali with Big Show as a punishment on an attack on the Undertaker shortly before the match. Khali was then challenged by The Undertaker in a last man standing match at SummerSlam on August 20th. But after interfering in the Undertaker match against King Booker, Khali refused the challenge, but Long scheduled a last man standing match ahead of time on the 18th on the episode of SmackDown. The Undertaker had won the match by striking Khali with stairs and finishing him with a choke slam. It was the Great Khali's first defeat and effectively ended his feud with The Undertaker. The Undertaker next match was with then United States champion up-and-coming Mr. Kennedy at No Mercy on October 18th, but was disqualified after he hit Kennedy with the championship belt. We almost done. But on November 3rd, episode of SmackDown, The Undertaker reunited with his brother Kane to reform the Brothers of Destruction for the first time in 5 years. After defeating reluctant opposition of the form of Mr. Kennedy and another up-and-comer MVP who was feuding with Kane at the same time. As a part of the storyline, Kennedy defeated Undertaker in a First Blood match at Survivor Series on November 26th after the interference of MVP. But Undertaker got the last laugh by finally defeating Kennedy in the last ride match at Armageddon on December 17th. The two continued to feud and cost The Undertaker 2 World Heavyweight Championship opportunities matches at the Royal Rumble on January 28th, 2007. But however, the Dead Man qualified for the Royal Rumble match by winning a Battle Royal on January 26th on the episode of SmackDown. So we're going to leave off right there, y'all, because I try to do all these episodes, mini-series, like a mini-series like this. I try to give y'all 30 minutes. But with that being said, man, I just want to say, hey, man, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. You know what I'm saying? All the supporters, you know what I'm saying? Like, I appreciate y'all so much, you know what I'm saying? So at the same time, man, keep God first, you know what I'm saying? Men, if you're going through something like that, man, hey, get help. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no wrong going help, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta put pride to the side because you can miss out on a good thing, you know what I'm saying? Especially if you ain't used to help or you used to a certain way, you know what I'm saying? So it's okay to mind do counseling and say you need help, you know what I'm saying? But I wanna say I love y'all, but continue to give y'all the bangers, you know what I'm saying? So with that being said, hey, Part 4 is coming. You know what I'm saying? So Part 4 is coming, which I really want to record. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to give y'all the I want to knock this out. I want to give y'all the Kofi Kingston and the Ric Flair versus Randy Savage rivalry. You know, so I got them two already ready to get in the chamber, ready to go. So with that being said, man, I love y'all. Appreciate y'all, man. Keep God first, bro. Cause we need him. We all need each other, man, during these tough times. You know what I'm saying? As far as everything, need to get a piece of chicken. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, man, I love y'all. And I appreciate y'all. And I'm out.